Hey guys, welcome back to Andy's Dinosaur Reviews. Today we're going to take a look at another of these newer Dino Rival figures, and this is one that I actually had a good bit of trouble tracking down, but I was finally able to do it thanks to Amazon.com, and this is the Dracorex Off-Road Tracker ATV set, which you can see has Owen with a, for some reason, super confused look on his face, and then of course the Dracorex, which is the white version. But let's take a look at the box itself. As always, we've got the Rex and Triceratops arguing about who's going to make dinner tonight, and then Owen just not even looking because he wants nothing to do with making dinner at all. If we look at the side of the box, we've got a nice shot of Rexy here for us to look at. And then, of course, on the other side, we've got the Triceratops also for us to look at. But then if we get the box, we turn it around, we take a nice look, we've got an awesome shot of the Dracorex and the ATV with Owen, showing you exactly how you operate it and what the action feature is. And then down here in the corner, some shots of some of the dual strike figures that are released currently for the Dino Rivals line. But let's go ahead, break this out of the box, and take a look at it. So we've got the Dracorex card out, and again you can see that it is a very cool image there of this grayish, whitish version with the stats, Dino Rivals and Jurassic World on the back. It does come with a few accessories that you can see there, a knife, and it looks like some backpacks and stuff. I'm not going to get those out because I don't really need to. I'm just going to leave those in there. And then here comes Owen. And there is the Dracorex itself. Now, if you remember my previous review of the actual Dracorex figure, you will know that I was very excited about that figure, and I really loved it. I felt like it was probably one of the best, if not the best, out of all the Attack Pack figures that we have had so far. So, I'm bound to love this one as well. And with that in mind, let's get a closer look at it. So we're not really here to actually look at the sculpt. We have reviewed this sculpt before. This sculpt is exactly the same as the previous Dracorex. We are only really here to take a look at the new paint, so let's do that now. As you can see on the actual face, primarily it is a very light gray, but they've airbrushed a nice area of black over it. Very strong black, actually. Really up here on the head, it's quite strong. You can kind of see some dots and stuff of the black throughout the horns of the Dracorex itself. But overall, that's really the only paint on the face. But of course, you do have the paint of the eyes. The eyes look very nice. They're a yellowish color with a black pupil, and they do have a very nice gloss. Shockingly, they appear to be painted nicely on both sides, so that's a plus for this figure, that's for sure. And then as you run down the neck, you can see that the black does pick back up here right around the neck area, and it kind of just gets very splotchy pretty much throughout. And then we get to right about before the tail, honestly right before the tail starts, and it just stops dead. But if we come down here into the legs, you can see that there is a little bit of that coloration down here on the leg area, and it does look really quite nice. I'm definitely a fan of this paint scheme. I think it looks very cool. I do like the older version better, but this one does still look quite nice. And as usual with Mattel, you can see that they do have those speckles all throughout the body, which I do also quite like because it gives it some nice variation of color on a figure that doesn't have too much coloration on it. If you look at the underside, there is like a pale creamy coloration that runs from the beak area all the way down to, again, right before the tail, of course, and then it stops dead right there. No other coloration is included. There is the Jurassic Facts app code for this Dracorex if you do want to add it to your collection. But overall, I think the paint looks really nice. What is applied, it's really beautifully applied, very naturally applied. I would have again liked for some paint to come down here onto the tail, but we consistently get skimped out in that area as far as the paint goes on these figures. But without question, it is definitely a very appealing looking Dracorex. The ATV itself, actually I guess I still have some rubber bands there I gotta get off, but the ATV itself does look really quite nice, very highly detailed, as you've come to expect from Mattel, and it in general looks really nice. I guess actually one of the accessories that were in the pack probably goes right there, as we've got one on the other side there. And the wheels actually have quite a bit of mobility to them, so I'm assuming when we actually put it down, it should kind of give the appearance, if you want it to, that it's bumpy and kind of going over some rough terrain. Very, very cool. It's the typical Owen figure. I don't think there's anything really new with him. Just the standard Mattel Owen figure that we've gotten about 1 billion times at this point. And again, as I said, you can see just how much movement you honestly have with this ATV. You can really, really maneuver Owen all over the place. And yes, this does move, and I do believe it comes off. Maybe not. I don't know. If it doesn't come off, I don't want to break it. If it does come off, I'm not sure, but it does kind of swivel around, so there's a pretty good chance that it does come off. And again, like I said, lots of beautiful articulation with the ATV itself. As far as the Dracorex goes, let's go ahead and get a measurement on him. As I said, exactly the same figure as before, but we will measure him again regardless. That is, if I can keep the tape measure out long enough to do that. 6.5 inches for length, or about 16.5, almost 17 centimeters. And for a height, you are looking at about 3.5 inches, or about 9 centimeters. And for Owen and his ATV, from the back wheel to the front of this claw grabbing area, you're looking at about 6.25 inches, or about 16 centimeters. And if we look at the height of Owen sitting on this, you're looking at about 4.25 inches, or about 11 centimeters. For a size comparison, there is the Papo T-Rex. Now this is obviously not to scale whatsoever, but our Papo buddy here has helped us with so many reviews that this should at this point give you a pretty good idea of the size of the Dracorex and the ATV. And for another comparison, here is the original Dracorex figure with the newer Dracorex figure. And you can see that, as I said, they are exactly the same. The same sculpt, same size, same position. Everything is exactly the same, except the new paint job, which I actually find quite cool. It's definitely a very beautiful look. I, as I said before, am partial to the previous release because it's that nice, but this newer one is definitely very cool as well. As far as articulation goes on the Dracorex, same articulation again. We've got the articulation of the head, which can go all over the place and swivel up and down and all that fun stuff. The neck can also move up and down. Arms forward and back, both of them. Legs forward and back, both of them. They don't come out away from the body, but that's because it's an attack pack figure. And then you've got the tail on a swivel, just like always. As far as the action feature of the ATV itself, you can open and close these. Once you push this shut, it kind of grabs on, it latches on. But if you push it open, it stays open. You pull it in, hook, oh, there we go. Hook the Dracorex, and then we can just drag him away. So this set is very cool. The action feature of the ATV does work quite well. I love the articulation and mobility of the ATV itself, and the fact that we do get an Owen figure and some extra accessories. Very cool. Nice touch on the part of Mattel. Overall, the ATV itself does look very good. Lots of beautiful detail has been included into the actual vehicle. And of course, the Owen figure does look really quite nice as well. The Dracorex is beautiful. Yet again, I love this figure. I love the sculpt. So I was bound to like it. And this new paint scheme is definitely quite appealing. I really quite like that as well. As I said about 4 times now, I'm not as much of a fan of this one as I am of the previous release, but it is still really nice, and it's always awesome to have a few different variations of each of these figures, because if you're going to go ahead and get yourself a nice little pack of Dracorex figures and have Owen out trying to catch a few with this, which could make for a very cool time playing with them, I think a few different variations of the same type of dinosaur is a very realistic and very cool touch to add to your pack of dinosaurs or your park of dinosaurs, and this Dracorex is definitely quite beautiful. So I will link you guys in the description to Amazon.com where I purchased mine, so you can go ahead and pick one up for yourself. I believe this set altogether is about 20 bucks, so it's definitely a pretty good price for this. A very, very cool looking set, once again, from Mattel for the Jurassic World line. So as I said, check the description, go buy yourself one of these sets, and please like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next review. Thanks for watching.